New Orleans has been my favorite city since I was a little girl, long before James Carville existed in my world.
Oh, wow.
And I always wanted to live here. When I came to this part of the city for the first time and stood at that gate and looked up at this house, I just stood there and said, this is it. And I called James, who was with his sister, and I said, I found the house, and I gave him the address. He just started laughing. He said, why am I not surprised? You found that neighborhood completely like, you know, a pig in an acorn. I just gravitated to it.
Hi, I'm Danielle Del Sol, and today we're in the University section of Uptown New Orleans to visit the grand home of one of the most famous political couples in the country, James Carville and Mary Matalin. Mary, a native of Chicago, is best known for her work with the Republican Party. She has been active locally with the post-Katrina recovery group Women of the Storm, the Louisiana chapter of the Nature Conservancy, and the New Orleans Catholic community. Nicknamed the Raging Cajun, Louisiana native James Carville gained national attention for his work as the lead strategist of the presidential campaign of Bill Clinton. Despite their active political careers in Washington, D.C., the couple moved their family from Virginia to New Orleans in 2008. This home, built in 1906, is one of many elegant colonial revival designs of architect Frank P. Gravely.
Oh, welcome. Please come in.
Thank you.
Come
Happy
on in.
Holidays.
Mary's in the kitchen. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Mary. Thank you
It's
so much
so
for
good to
having
see
us.
you.
You too. Thank you.
I love this room, this kind of plaster work. I don't know any other city that has not just the number, but the quality of artists engaged in dying art forms, which this is. And the care that the restorer took. He was in his glory. They love what they do and it's present. You can feel that in there, in the way in which it gets done. People love the homes here, not just their homes, the homes. It feels like the spirit of New Orleans circulates throughout the homes of New Orleans. This house, it was first built when this was farmland. It was middle-class architecture in the robber baron Gilded Age, okay? So this is like, it's not the wedding cake. It's not meant to be like a St. Charles or something like that. It's like, where could Catholic people with 9 children, because there was a lot, you didn't have to be Catholic, but there was everybody had a ton of kids there. So where could people with a ton of kids, how could they live commodiously? This room is, this also has amazing plaster work, less pronounced because of the coloring of it. But this room, this was the library. When we first came, each of these corners had a built-in library. And look at the oak tree.
Yes, look at the oak tree. It's perfectly framed. Your dining room is spectacular.
It's an astounding representation of Audubon art.
It is so beautiful. This gorgeous mural depicting Audubon Park was a gift to Mary from James. It took the artist months to paint and makes the dining room a stunning place to entertain.
I said, go do your thing, as you should always do with artists. Just bring the park into the house. There are many local artists represented in this house. This may or may not be true, but I believe it, so it's true to me, that this house could not have otherwise been captured had it not been by those who inhabit the spirit of New Orleans. the architecture here. It's an extension of the people themselves. One is pink and one is turquoise and one is lime. It's like all these homes carry the spirit of individuality while maintaining the cohesive spirit of New Orleans.
You're right, every home has a history. That was where people lived, they created, they made memories.
And they rebuilt. I consider it a God-given blessing to be able to have participated in the post-Katrina recovery. As tragic as it was, the spirit of the people with tears running down their faces, rebuilding, how many scenes of kicking through mold and mud and water and washed up stuff in your own house, and just one, step after step, load after load. It was not even thinking, just we will rebuild, we will recover.
Yes, this isn't a question.
This is a city, and this is architecture that can stand up to tragedy. This is not an addition, but this is a renovation.
Well, tell me a little bit about the sitting area.
This is our family portrait.
That is so gorgeous.
Done by a Russian and carted cross country.
It is so beautiful.
And this, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Oh my gosh, this is brilliant.
Isn't it? So now you don't have to look at a big black
TV,
hole, which I feel like is a repository for ugly spirits that come out at night out of that big blackness, but they're trapped in there now.
And look how clean and beautiful. Wow, that is so brilliant. I love it. So I know that you and James are actually going to put this house on the market soon and downsize. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's meant to your family to be in this home?
I feel like we were loving custodians, and the kids are. It's a lot of house unless you have a lot of kids, but it's a family house, and it's a fun house. It's a fun people. It's just a fun house. It has a great flow. So we really hate to move on, and I've considered every conceivable plan to be able to maintain living here, but it's ready for another loving family to walk in
and
do
keep
their
that beautiful
thing.
energy there.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things that is so wonderful about living here is how special the holidays are. Do you all celebrate the holidays here in New Orleans?
We do. To be here in the holiday season, which is so different than a Yankee holiday season, which is glorious snow and all that.
Of course, yeah.
It's a spectacular opportunity for festooning, if there's I don't think it's a weird way to say it. You can do a lot or a little or nothing, and it still looks celebratory. This is where we do our Christmas opening of presents.
Really?
There's piles of presents that are never used again. But the mom and the dad get to sit here with coffee and watch as the opening unfolds.
That's so sweet.
And it's not up yet, but so the tree goes here. And it's inserted with these angels floating above it.
So tell me about the angels or
these pooties, they are my floating guardian angels. Every day is like a holiday here, but the Christmas and Thanksgiving, well, of course, everything starts running together from about Thanksgiving to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
It just never stops. And then you take like a breath detox, and here comes Jazz Fest. I love the rhythm of life here. Just the rhythm of life. The housing fits the rhythm. This is, I call this the kitchen Volkswagen. It's like having a small car in your house, but
It is spectacular.
the materials to do anything your heart desires artistically, architecturally, in house, they all exist here. So this is from a marble and granite and a stone place here.
Okay.
Oh, here's something I must show off. Now this is mimicked after Paul Prudhomme's hat closet.
Really?
So he had his hat on a thing like this. And I don't know how practical it is but we love us some Paul Prudhomme here, and that's our memory thing for him.
Where is your refrigerator?
This entire kitchen is worked off of these doors that are obviously French in origin
Wow.
and have been converted to.
My gosh. Oh, that is so cool. I also love the natural light and how the palms seem part of the room. It's so beautiful.
I want to thank you for saying that, because landscape after land, I am kind of a gardener too, and if nothing grows the way I've seen things grow here. And when we first moved in there, they were kind of little palms, but every year they'd get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is so peaceful.
So both you and your husband have the most incredible political careers, and there is not a stitch of any of that, or maybe I just missed it, that I can see on the inside. Is that intentional?
We've had a lot of political events here. I think we've had several presidents, and every candidate that's ever running for anything and across the country comes in here. It's not my aesthetic preference.
I respect
But it's
that.
not I'm not making a political statement by having no politics around us. Personally, for me, in the schematic of beautiful things that just make you catch your breath, political buttons and pictures of my husband with presidents is not among them. Or pictures with me with presidents. James loves the house. Complains about it endlessly. But
It's a lot of house.
is it? I said, isn't this beautiful? How much was it? No matter what. If it's a piece of furniture, I say it was on sale for like $25. So one time I said,
believe that. No.
well, he goes, my wife is so amazing. She's got all these antique rugs. They're like 25. She's probably exaggerating to me. They're probably like $50 a piece. I don't know how she does it. Like, yeah, you gotta really research. Love that guy. Now this is a cozy space over here, which we've already passed. Can you imagine having a nice little sitting here with your little martini? This is my little hideaway. It is it's not a grand place, it's a loving place. Who always lives up to her potential.
Oh, yes.
Don't you know, like
Yes, I
some
love
places
that.
struggle to be what they are, and this one is just comfortable with who she is.
What does the architecture and preserving the architecture of the city mean to you?
Where people live is more than a piece of architecture. It's a total expression of who they were.
Yes.
Even in my little Levittown where I grew up, it is an expression of history. It was an expression of post-World War II.
Yes.
The ugliest little boxes of, do you know, I mean, that's right. Box.
Yep.
Cut like this on the inside. And then if you lived there long enough, which we did, then you take your basement and turn it into a kind of bar thing. I don't think New Orleanians take their unique architecture for granted. people who live here regularly admire and appreciate the beauty which surrounds them. And I do this myself. I've been here 15 years. I walk up and down at least twice a day and never fail to see something new and beautiful. The woodworking and the plaster work and the details that were done lovingly. The house is not just, oh, you live on this street or that street or this. You live in the home that carries the soul of blank.
Yes.
So how could you not want to preserve this? Aside from the tangible art and architecture, which can never be replicated, you have to preserve the energy that made the architecture and the art pop the way that it does and give the way that it still does.